Hey guys, this is Darren Benton again with Performance Motorcoaches out in Wolfforth, Texas. Pretty excited to bring this video to you. Did a video of this coach last year, right about this time. I think we had about 824,000 views, hits on the video. Here we are a year later. This coach is now a pre-owned coach. This coach came from one of our customers out in New Mexico. Big toy buff. He is leaving New Mexico, headed to Florida, and going to play with boats. And so we brought this coach back in. One owner, garage kept. It's a 2021 Showhauler. It's on a Freightliner M2 crew cab, 4-wheel drive. This is one of the few trucks you can get in a 4-wheel drive from the factory. So pretty cool setup. As far as the horsepower on this, it's 350 horsepower. It's the Cummins 8.9. So it's the Cummins ISL, mated to the Allison 3000 series transmission. This coach has just a little bit less than 7,000 miles. I drove it initially out to Texas, and we took it over to New Mexico and picked it back up as well. So I guess that I've probably driven close to about half the miles that are on this unit right now. Customer used it predominantly in the Albuquerque and Durango area to go back and forth. Very clean inside and out. He did have a few kids that traveled with him, but the unit is amazingly clean inside and out. You really wouldn't know it from a brand new coach itself. So definitely cool setup. Concrete gray in color. This cab was ordered to color, and then we basically painted the conversion, so it makes it nice. If you're really picky about paint, it's a pretty good factory paint job instead of a lot of these units that are painted after the fact. Of course, here at the dealership, we powder coated all the wheels, built the bumpers, did the blackout package, and did a few other things to it as well. Now, we'll go back to the conversion itself. It's about 23 foot long on the conversion itself, and then we roughly have about 13, 14 foot of bumper and cab up here. So it's 36, 37 foot in overall length. Definitely easy to drive, very maneuverable. I came out of New Mexico yesterday, relatively windy, and drove anywhere from 65 to 75, kind of depending upon what highways that I was on. Does great out on the highway. A lot of fun to drive, gets a lot of attention. I don't think this coach is going to last very long. I think I've had about 10 phone calls on it since yesterday, so I think it's going to go pretty darn quick. I just wanted to go over it again, maybe improve a little bit on the previous video that we did. So we'll go ahead and roll back a little bit. So show haulers are basically one of the only units out on the market that are all steel construction, and then they use a aluminum sheet metal over the top. This does have the spray foam insulation in the walls and ceiling, and then there's a 3-inch foam board below. So it's just the standard top swing baggage compartments right here. This is a combined compartment right here. Got another one midship right here. And then back behind here we have one storage and then one that contains the hydronic heater. That's basically a 30,000 BTU boiler system that heats the coach, and it also serves as your domestic water heater itself. One piece, just a really simple carefree awning right there. The nice thing about that awning is it's very, very forgiving when it comes to any kind of a windstorms. The lateral arm awnings, they look a little bit nicer than that awning, but very susceptible to wind damage. Come around back. It's a pretty cool setup right here. So just additional storage right here. You could put, snowboards. You could put all kinds of different little pieces, parts. Maybe some skis. And if you were a skier like me, you could fit skis in there. But if you're a professional and running 220, 230s, it'd be probably not quite enough length. This is fully insulated, so if you do leave it open, you don't have to worry about getting, your bed cold. So pretty cool setup there. Have windows all the way around. They're all double pane windows, but this is the bedroom on the back. It's pretty cool to have all the windows there. We'll come around over here to the other side. Got a wet bay, and also should be, there we go. So wet bay right here, and then this is where your shore cord goes. We're probably going to add a few things. We basically have talked about upgrading the lithium batteries. Right now they're just 2 AGM, 8D AGM, so they're 260, 270 amp hours. I know we can easily fit 2, perhaps 3 Battleborns in that compartment up front. Probably should have highlighted this earlier. As far as gray and black water on board, you get 72 gallons of each. So a fair amount of waste storage for your gray and your black. 72 gallons a piece. So you can see here, should be relatively easy to fit. Don't know if there's not a light in this one, but there's just 2 stacked batteries. We measured early. We've got some Battleborns upstairs. Should be able to get at least 2 in there. We might be able to get 3 if we build a rack to be able to set a third one up on top. 3,000 watt Magnum inverter. Of course, we'll have to change out the controller. We'll put a Victron battery monitor in once we get those in. Hopefully next week we can get all that performed. I believe this is I think that's a 10-gallon def tank right there. These are all top swing, just a little bit more rugged. We've heard some people comments in the past of like, well, they're noisy. Well, they're noisy, but they just last. You don't have to worry about any kind of adjustment on these top swing baggage doors. We'll peer in the cab. It's actually the same size tire front and rear, and it's the same wheel, it's just flip-flopped. So we were able to get the proper spacing as far as your front axle and your rear axle, be able to utilize the same tire and wheel setup, front or rear, just basically flipped. Fuel on board. We have an 80-gallon tank on this side and a 50-gallon on the other. Your 8K generator, I think hours on the generator is like 34, 35 hours on the generator. So 130 gallons of fuel on board. That'll run the heater and your generator. Basically, as long as you have water and a little bit of fuel, you can stay out a long time with this. As far as solar up top, I think we got 390 watt panels. There again, we'll upgrade, add potentially 3 panels, but I know for a fact we can definitely add 2 panels up top. All the captain seats are all factory air ride. Pretty darn comfortable seat, 4 captain seats. We could add a bench in the back, but I wouldn't recommend it. It makes it easier access to get in and out. Some rigid dually lights up front. Does have the factory LED lights right there that are really bright. I bet probably the total times I've driven this, I've probably had, probably 40-50 people pull up next to me, videoing and taking pictures. Go ahead and jump in. Very robust entry door. Has a triple entry right here. Jump in and pull my shoes off. Nice step well right here. You can basically put extra shoes down board there. So you can see it's a pretty accessible coach with it. Your slide in. I pulled this down earlier because we were up top cleaning all the solar panels, but this can just be stored while you're driving up and down the road. So, even basically the kind of reason why I left it down was if you were like in a really snowy, heavily snowy conditions, you wouldn't want to run your slide out and then get all that snow up on top or potential ice. So it's a very usable coach even in really cold environments. If it wasn't snowing out, you could put the slide out, but if it was really cold and had tons of snow, I'd probably bring that slide out in. But let me go ahead and run it out just to let you guys see how much room you have here. It's really well sealed along the sides and the top. Underneath, if you were in, say, South Dakota and you had 30-40 mile an hour winds and it's 20 degrees below zero, I wouldn't do it. I would want it sealed all the way around. I wouldn't want any of that cold air blowing underneath the slide itself. So fixed dinette right here. This does not let down to any kind of a bed. We just feel that a lot of the convertible dinettes are really noisy, really aggravating. Hear those things rattle driving up and down the highway. Simple Paul's Furniture U-shaped dinette. We just did Corian. We wanted to conserve a fair amount of weight on board instead of doing the granite here. This does let down. It's a jackknife couch. It'll fold flat. There are 2 hydronic registers below this. I think they're 9,000 BTUs a piece, and there are seat belts there. I think there's 3 seat belts underneath there, and then we added 2 seat belts right there. This will kind of go up and down. Let me grab this out of the way. be tough if you were a full-grown adult, but be better than sleeping on the ground. Take and roll that up. So essentially this will lock into place, but still not bad to be able to sit here. There are some lights underneath here, but lots of windows to be able to see out. You know, to me, definitely a true outdoorsman type of rig here. Escape hatch up top there. Some of my best sleep has been in these rigs right here. Open up the hatch even whenever it's relatively cold outside. Just kind of gives a pretty cool feeling being able to have that hatch open and get a lot of the outdoors in. This particular bed right here is 60 inches wide, so decent amount of room. My height, I generally pull the TV out, and the TV will come at a little bit of an angle. That's a relatively large TV. Everybody has their own particular preference. We try to build these things for anybody, everybody, but I'm not a big TV guy, but it'd be pretty simple to pull that out, do something smaller. Little window back in there, and there are plugs with USBs located all in your bunk over. And then very accessible here as far as cab entry. And those two particular cushions right there, one goes up top there because it's just a single pane. It's basically, that's a marine type hatch up top, and this larger cushion will go in this position right here. There again, if you're at 100 plus degrees, or if you're down below 0 degrees, to be able to block off the cab. The cabs just aren't that well insulated coming from the factory itself. And this will pull up. I really don't recommend it. I don't know why you necessarily want to do that, but it is nice to be able to have this larger opening. And Freightliner is basically the only chassis we can do this much larger opening in here. We do have two storage underneath the dinette there. This particular, when we built this rig, when it was first ordered, this customer came along whenever it was already in production. We already had a commitment for just as a stock unit. I made this convertible where you could pull the drawer bank out and do the washer dryer. The customer wanted the washer dryer. I checked. We do have all of the woodwork. We'd have all the drawer glides. We have all the drawers. They're basically brand new. So if the customer didn't want this, it'd be pretty darn easy to take and pull that guy out. All solid maple cabinetry throughout. All the drawers are all dovetail construction. They're all soft close. So even though you don't have a lot of storage right here, you start looking at other places here and there, and then of course your dinette. You do have a fair amount of space. You know, you could use this as a pantry. So while it's not right here in this area, you do have a fair amount of storage. Just have to kind of look for it. Little 8 cubic foot Frigo fridge, 12 volt compressor. There again, this is a really good off-grid rig, even with the AGMs that are on it right now. The simple fact, you don't have to run your inverter. Basically, all you need, 12 volt, is for your refrigerator, which is a little compressor refrigerator, and then running your lights. It does have a little freezer up top here. There's no ice maker or anything like that. So, come back here, pocket door to be able to isolate the bath. That was one thing that was kind of mind-boggling in the past, was people thought that there was no privacy for the bath. There's definitely privacy in the bath. So pocket doors here on both sides to be able to have privacy, or you know, if you had be able to isolate the kids, be able to close this off and be able to have your bath area right here. Go ahead and lock all these guys back into place. So macerator toilet right here, just because of the placement. We're right over the axle right here, but a ton of storage, even on this side. Try to utilize every single square inch for storage here. Now we'll catch this one down here on the bottom. That kind of goes back there. The nice thing about the way Showhaulers are built is everything is readily accessible whenever it comes to any kind of repair. So if we need to get to any kind of water line, hydronic heaters, everything is really simple in the way of basically pull out any kind of access places to be able to get to any kind of water lines, drain lines. A lot of manufacturers run them down in the floor, and it becomes very difficult if you have any kind of break. There again, same deal as far as their electrical. Everything that runs off your generator shore is here. Everything that runs off your inverter is here. More than likely, we'll probably add, once we do those lithiums, we'll take and add one of the air conditioners to run off the inverter as well. Come back here, This is a 60-inch wide mattress. To me, the fact that I can sleep next to the wall, I'm used to a king size at home, but to me this really doesn't bother me at all. You know, the fact that you have all the windows, it's a really cool setup. There again, if you wanted to be able to isolate this master and run the air conditioner, I can tell you that I've been in these and I've been able to cool below 50 degrees easily, and 100 plus degrees. You shut that door, it'll freeze you out. So fair amount of storage. We're trying to utilize every single square inch for hanging space, or that's a cedar line closet right there, but these are all adjustable shelves as well. Little TV up top, 100-gallon water tank below the bed here. You could add more water either in the outdoor storage area or underneath. It wouldn't be insulated, but fair amount of room, fair amount of storage. And this is a full 80 inches. A lot of RV mattresses are only 75 inches, so decent amount of space here. As far as air conditioners, two 15,000 BTU air conditioners with heat strips. They do not have heat pumps, they have heat strips, so they will work in even really, really cold environments. Let me open up this guy. Fair amount of space here. I mean, these drawers are incredibly deep. So if you were out in really cold environments, you can put a lot of clothing in this guy. You go and open up these. There again, super deep, really large, and there is some storage back behind the TV as well. I'll do my proverbial jump into the shower. So we just did a fiberglass shower. Wanted to conserve weight, didn't have to worry about any kind of tile shower. So I'm 6 foot, not an issue here. There's a fair amount of space. The reason why I opted to do the skylight in here is if you were a 7 foot tall guy. You know, if you're really, really tall, you don't have to worry about touching the ceiling with your hands. But pretty excited about it. It's, I mean, definitely cool to have it back. Maybe I can get a little bit of play with it before it goes to its new owner. Pricing. I don't ever talk about pricing. I'm talking about pricing on this coach because this coach is for sale, and I've done instructional video. This coach is priced at $650,000. $650,000 is what it's priced at. Don't call with $450 offers. Don't call with $550 offers. This coach is for sale for $650,000. We're talking over 2 years for a new build right now. The coach market's crazy, insane. I can tell you base price of most of these rigs in the last year have gone anywhere from 40 to about 70, 80,000. I can tell you chassis prices are going crazy. So just because you get one in 2 years doesn't mean that price we quote you today will hold true 2 years down the road. So you need to be kind of aware of that. So this is a great opportunity for somebody that wants one here and now. There is no warranty on the Showhauler portion. Showhauler only warranties the coach to the original owner. Some of the components will have their individual warranties, like your generator, air conditioner, but for the most part, we don't really have issues with Showhauler builds. They're built incredibly well. They're incredibly simple. There's just not too many things to break. You will have remaining warranty on the chassis itself. I believe there was a 2-year chassis warranty. Now things like Cummins engine, someone like Allison, that will have individual warranties, and I think the emissions on this will be a full 60 months. So if you're really super inquisitive about it, we can get some of the information for you, and we can also sell you an extended warranty. So we'll get out and kind of play with this. We'll do some kind of some upgrades to it. You know, whenever this coach was built, lithium was kind of new to the RV world, but we'll easily be able to stack some lithium on this guy, and we'll see how much actually we can get stuck on here. But cool setup. I mean, whether you're talking about 2 couples or you know, a family of 5, really, to try to be able to accommodate this many people in this small environment is pretty much unheard of. And the fact that you have 4 seats up front, all with seat belts. If you have a small family or even a medium-sized family, you want to be able to have the safest RV out on the road and probably one of the coolest RV out on the road. This is your rig. It's here, it's now. Don't hesitate. But super excited about it. We'll get out and play with it. Make sure you guys call. Make sure you guys like, tag. I don't think we'll hit 1 million on this one, but 824, we're pretty happy with it. And you guys, by liking, tagging, coming back and sharing it and viewing it, definitely helps us. So we're really excited about it. Make sure you guys like, tag, subscribe, keep on coming back.